Across Colorado, they are springing up like weeds. Pot gardens, like this one, owned by Scott Dura, one of a growing breed of entrepreneurs making the most of the state's new medical marijuana laws. Dura is one of thousands in this fledgling industry finding their way through a thicket of conflicting rules. Staying out of trouble isn't so easy.
I'm at the farm every day, with our plants and everything, and every time someone does knock on the door, your mind goes back to that, because you don't know.
Police, search warrant! Police department, search warrant!
In early 2010, police raided a number of grows, including Scott's.
Our first operation was raided, and they went through our front window, and we were totally legitimate, and it was...
He and his wife, Wanda James, thought they had done everything by the book. No charges were filed, but the experience left them unsettled.
Because it encompasses your life. All of a sudden, you do have people probing in your background and asking you questions and this and that.
To escape the legal limbo, these restaurant owners joined other pot entrepreneurs and lobbied for what most industries try to avoid, to be taxed and regulated.
Okay, Barb, would you tell me about your plants and your patient count?
Matt Cook, with the Colorado Department of Revenue, is the man charged with creating a blueprint for a state-taxed, for-profit marijuana industry.
Questions, a lot of questions out there, huh?
Cook is a former law enforcement officer who's put hundreds of people behind bars for growing and selling pot. Not exactly the first person you'd think of to help legitimize the marijuana industry.
Where do you intend to have any product, medicine at all?
As he meets with thousands of pot pioneers, he's realized there's no fighting this wave.
It's a huge pill for me to swallow because of where I come from. But I'm going to do what's right to ensure that we can regulate the industry.
If he can't beat them, at least he can keep them in line.
We can't issue a license till local governments approved it.
What's driving is the need to get it regulated, to get it under control, to ensure that the medicine that patients are receiving meets quality standards, and to ensure that the black market industries, the cartels, and all the other bad guys out there aren't profiting from it.
What started out as a few vague rules has now become a strict state code of regulation that goes further than any other jurisdiction in the country, beginning with who is allowed to grow and who is allowed to sell.
You cannot have any felonies within the last 10 years. You can have to be able to show years of your tax returns.
There we go. Okay, that looks good.
Everyone involved in the marijuana business, even investors, must be fully licensed, requiring rigorous background checks and steep fees.
You're all set.
Wanda James and Scott Dura have spent more than $25,000 on application fees alone.
That was a very expensive, it was a 26-page application that wanted everything from your high school diploma to any divorce that you've ever had.
The rules now specify precisely how much medical marijuana can be cultivated and sold. And the state will be keeping a close eye on the industry, literally.
16 cameras covering the entire area and the perimeter.
Every marijuana grow and retail facility is required to install 24-hour live cameras that feed directly to Matt Cook's enforcement office. He's tracing the money and the product from seed to retail. Cook says the new code will be strictly enforced.
Violators will be subject to two kinds of actions. I can fine them up to $100,000 for a violation of the law, and a criminal sanction. We can arrest them and make them go to court.
Do you ever just shake your head and say, oh my God, this is too much regulation?
Every morning, every morning. But I got to tell you, there's a sense of pride in which we go through this because we know that this is just the beginning, and we know that this was going to be difficult, but we were thrilled to be part of the boom of what is happening.
They're just not going to get the consistency that you guys will, and that's...
Even before the state stepped in, Wanda James and Scott Dura say they made quality control a top priority and had their marijuana tested at an independent laboratory. Full Spectrum is the first facility in Colorado dedicated to testing cannabis for its medicinal and psychedelic qualities. Bob Winnicky, the company founder, tests a lot of pot.
But if you're out to dinner or you meet some people at a bar and you tell them what you do for a living, do they say to you, come on?
This probably is not as fun as it sounds at first pass. Everyone thinks that we're a bunch of guys sitting around a table smoking pot and saying, oh, this one's better than this one.
There actually is a science to it. The chemists here analyze the bud for its cannabinoid makeup, which determines what effect it has on the body.
This machine separates the cannabinoids and then reads them and reports the amounts to a computer.
What happened to the days where someone said, gee, this really makes me feel good? Now suddenly they want to test it?
You're watching an industry go from an underground, what I like to call the Wild West days, into a respected, legal, licensed industry. Not since you saw alcohol come out of Prohibition has anything similar to this ever happened in this country.
Winnicky's scientific analysis has been crucial to Scott and Wanda as they roll out their new venture. Simply Pure, a line of cannabis-infused edibles.
What makes your products different from those marijuana brownies that someone had back in college?
Oh boy.
Done in a professional kitchen. Our consistency, every time you have one of our products, they will affect you the same all the time. It's like going to Starbucks. You know what you're going to get every time you have one.
Colorado has come a long way from homemade brownies, and the rewards are pretty sweet. In just the first year since the boom, the state has collected more than $21 million through sales tax and a host of licensing fees.
The governor took $9 million out of the marijuana coffers and used the money to help balance the budget here in Colorado. So we are now intrinsically a part of running this state. You can't take our money and then arrest us.
Fast forward for me 5 years from now, where do you see this industry?
I honestly believe in my heart and soul that there is nothing that any state or the federal government is going to be able to do to stand in the way of legalization of marijuana. Nothing.
Not so long ago, that prediction might have been laughable. But Colorado's experiment is bringing us one step closer
217
to imagining what the legalization of marijuana might look like. I'm Trish Regan. Thanks for watching.